Over the last few weeks, I have very slowly but very surely been making my way through the old Baldur's Gate trilogy, namely Baldur's Gate 1, 2, and Throne of Baal. Throne of Baal, of course, is DLC, but I technically consider Throne of Baal the part 3 of Baldur's Gate, as it were, the original trilogy. And I'm taking my dandy old time. It is Enhanced Edition as well. And I'm doing this because, well, it's been a very long time, a good 12, maybe 15 years since I properly played Baldur's Gate, even though back in the day I must have played it half a dozen times at least. And it's worth doing, if only because I'm curious how it stands up these days to other CRPGs. More importantly, I do plan on offering a retrospective once I'm done with everything. How does it stand up to the games, as I just mentioned, that exist today, such as Wrath of the Righteous, Rogue Trader, CRPGs basically, comparatively speaking. And it's just a fun little jaunt or adventure. And within that context, I thought it would be important to talk about something I recently discovered and found out about, some absolutely delightful news, namely that Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition is getting a complete mod conversion, a total mod conversion, which is basically using the Infinity Engine, the enhanced version that is, from the most recent games, and basically creating your own story with it, and your own characters, and your own buildings and maps and areas, essentially a game unto itself. And this is absolutely fantastic news. For one, this is a huge part of it for me, because this DLC, or this game, we'll call it a game, takes place in Cormyr. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure many of you do, most of the games that have come out for the Forgotten Realms within D&D over the years have been, not always, but very frequently, set and firmly placed on the Sword Coast, Waterdeep or Baldur's Gate, right? Always the bloody, boring Sword Coast. Now, the Sword Coast is not in and of itself boring necessarily. It's just so many games have been made that take place there. There isn't a lot of variety. So when I heard about this and found out it takes place in Cormyr and centered around Cormyrian culture and history and the events that shape Cormyr, I was pretty ecstatic. And I only found out about this a day or two ago. Now, for those of you who don't know, Cormyr is set in the Heartlands, kind of in the middle of Faerûn. It's frequently known as the Forest Kingdom, for example. So it's filled with these ancient forests. It's kind of smack in the middle, far away from the Sword Coast, far away from other places. And it's also known as the Land of the Purple Dragon. And the reason why it's called this is because it is ruled by a dynasty that has the purple dragon as their emblem. You also have purple dragon knights and this sort of thing. And it's generally considered this shining beacon of civilization, law, and justice. It is, alignment-wise, typically viewed as lawful good or lawful neutral, typically lawful good. There has been a succession of kings. The most beloved and iconic one is King Azun IV. By the way, the game, or this total conversion mod, takes place, I believe, in 1371. So we're still in the kind of the golden era of the Forgotten Realms, before the Spell Plague, before all the nonsense that Wizards of the Coast cooked up. Now, the most iconic figure in the context of Cormyr is King Azun IV. And he was considered a hero, much beloved by the people. He was a lawful good warrior. The game itself takes place, I believe, a year or so, or during the year after his death, so posthumously, in 1371, I believe he passed. He was a legend, like I said. He did a lot of cool things. Most importantly to the history of Cormyr, and maybe the entire continent of Faerûn itself, was the fact that he single-handedly slew the leader of the Tugan Horde in 1360, which was essentially the Forgotten Realms version of the Mongols, who were sweeping across Faerûn from the east, and he killed the Khan in single combat. And total Giga Chad legend King Azun was, as far as I've understood it. And Cormyr is just a very different place from anything you've encountered thus far in D&D video games. On the face of it, it's a very lawful, just kingdom, but I'm sure there are things brewing beneath the surface, as one would expect when you're about to embark upon an adventure. So for example, oftentimes Cormyr is in a state of conflict with Sembia, which is also a kingdom. There are assassins of the Fire Knives. I believe there's also a Thieves Guild, I'm not entirely sure. And the forests, of course, are quite dangerous as well. There's a vast swampland that is near to it. So there are things happening in and around Cormyr, in addition to it being a nice and just place to live in. Now, this is a mod. It's being worked on by people who voluntarily have been offering their time. According to the makers of the mod, it's been in the works for about 2 years, so since 2023. And here's the lowdown, all the basic details we know thus far. So here are all the basics. It is a total conversion for BG2 Enhanced Edition set in Cormyr in 1371. It features a brand new storyline, not a BG sequel, but rather a spin-off, in the sense that it explores a similar theme. There's a website. I'll link the website, of course, in the description. And these are the words on the webpage of the announcement. This is quite a large-scale project. The plan is to have a prologue plus 5 chapters in the Baldur's Gate 1 mood. I've just finished the website and done so hastily, so I'll improve it with more screenshots and teaser stuff in the future. The mod features the following up until now: a fully realized traversable world map, Suzale with 9 areas plus 9 sewers, Castle Crag plus Castle Highhorn, Evening Star, Welloon, Weymouth, Immersea, Tierlook, Collinwood, Crown Post, Knightswood, Yeoman's Bridge, Espar, Mouth of Gargoyles, Minro, Moonever, Blustitch, Bogbrook, Monk's Blade, Battle Rise, Kieranwood, Junioril, Gars, Huntale, and Thunderstone, implemented in terms of towns and villages. Fully finished prologue and chapters 1 to 4, 169 minor quests implemented, companions ready to join the party. No reuse of old area graphics, everything new. Hope it lives up to the expectations. Pending for a possible late Q1 2026 release. Chapter 5, Final. Kits under consideration. Spells under consideration. 1 out of 10 large quests and 0 out of 20 middle quests. So basically, the canvas for this world map, areas, ambiance, population has been completed, plus 80% of the storyline. And he says, hope you find this exciting. Would be nice if I could get a dedicated forum section in Gibberlines 3 for more of a community vibe. And that is where this was originally posted. And I have to admit, I have a certain fondness for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. I think that 3.5, 3rd edition, 0.5 is my favorite overall. But I think that Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition is easily the runner-up. I really like the system. Maybe it's because I in part grew up with it. I'm just familiar with it. I think it's cool. I know it's not perfect, but I like it a lot, and it has this old school flavor to it that I just enjoy. So it's hard to say much more about it now. I mean, the images you can see in the background are from the game or the mod. And at this stage, we have no idea when they'll be released. But I'm pretty sure that the mod makers, the game makers are enthusiastic. They're going to be Forgotten Realms lore junkies for sure, because otherwise they wouldn't make this game. And I think it is something to be really excited about. Again, because no more Sword Coast. It's set in the Forgotten Realms in one of the prime eras before the Spell Plague and all this other junk happened. And I mean, Wizards of the Coast totally screwed up Forgotten Realms history in my view. This is the best time, basically. Post Time of Troubles until just before the Spell Plague, which is, I believe, 1385. So you have, give or take, roughly 20 to 30 years before things get really bad in Forgotten Realms in terms of storytelling and composition. So this is taking place in prime time as far as history is concerned, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, new quests, new companions, and a new story. We have desperately needed something like this for a long time, and since I've been replaying the original Baldur's Gate saga or trilogy, once I'm done with that, I have even more to look forward to. So I just wanted you to know about this. I will leave links to the videos that they have uploaded and to their channel. I'm sure as time passes, they will be posting more. But if you're interested in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2, you know, the old school system and the Infinity Engine, and you love those games, and you've been craving more Forgotten Realms content, and specifically something that's not the Sword Coast, this could be your go-to game or mod or whatever you want to call it. So I definitely endorse this. It's looking good so far. And I hope to get more updates in the future, and I will let you know when we know more. So thanks for tuning in as always. And if you like my content and you like my takes, you can leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's much appreciated, and it's the only way to really accelerate channel growth and let people know I'm here. So please hit that like button, and I will check you out next time. Take care.